Good morning, ladies. First of all, I would like to thank Hashem. I have a new grandson. And his name is Shimon. The bris was on Monday. Okay. What? The bris was on just on Monday, and his name is Shimon. Shimon. Yes. Okay. So as we know, last week on Shabbos we read the Parah of Zachor to eradicate Amalek. So who is this Amalek? Well, Amalek really nowadays really doesn't exist because of the nations who are dispersed around with all the various countries. But Amalek refers to the traits within ourselves. So what are the traits referring to? The verse is Zachor is Asher Alech Lechem Amalek. Remember what did Amalek do to you? The word lecha is used in a singular form as opposed to the plural lechem to teach us that Amalek's worst injury was to isolate individuals, causing them to feel alienated from the community. And also the verse that said Asher karach b'derech, when they chanced upon you on the way, is in context to the word kachi, meaning chanced upon, from the word mikre, occurrence. But the Midrash interprets it also to mean chill, from the word kar, meaning to cool us down. So the Midrash explains that Amalek afflicted us with a cold indifference towards Torah and mitzvahs. Also, we know that the Hebrew word mar, bitter, equals gematria of Amalek, implying that Amalek embitters a person's heart with thoughts of his own failure, and he thus becomes paralyzed with depression, unable to find the inner strength necessary to improve. A person in such a position needs good friends to warm his heart and cheer him up. Yet the Yetzer Hara of Amalek cuts his prey off from the community. It makes him feel so low and worthless that he despairs of ever finding a place among his peers. And Amalek cut off those that straggled behind, as the verse states, with nowhere to turn to or encouragement, he is powerless to resist the advances of the Yetzer Hara. So, as we said, what can we do to prevent this Amalek sort of becoming within us? So it says that you should keep a fire burning in your shell, fan the flames with Torah wisdom of the Hakamim, and fuel it with passion and mitzvahs and whatever comes your way. Don't just measure, just do it. This is what we read, or sort of like to eradicate Amalek. And we know that there was Amalek in Shmuel who was supposed to get rid of Amalek, but he didn't do it. Okay, so today's Tanis Esther. Why was the fast thing? It was the time of when the Jews were in Persia, and there was a decree on the Yidden on this particular day, because the enemies wanted to destroy us. And we know that also because fasting is also observed in times of war. Whenever there's some degree of war, we know that Moshe had the war with Amalek, and when he raised his hands towards heaven, we were successful, and when we didn't, we were unsuccessful. And who initiated this fast? The initiated was from Esther, who initiated the fast afterwards. But we know that they fasted for 3 days. But the Chachamim now said for 3 days it's too much for us, so we only fast on 1 day. So then we have to ask ourselves, why was this decree initiated? What was the cause of this decree? And the decree was because Hashverosh made a fast, a Suda, and the Yidden went to the Suda, although Mordechai had told them they should not go to the Suda, but they went, and they enjoyed. The thing is that they enjoyed themselves at the Suda, and they also said that the kelim from the Beis Hamikdash was also displayed on that. So from this decree, Mordechai knew that something was going to happen. So we have to go back in a little bit of history. After the decree was sealed, that and given into the hands of his companions, and they rejoiced. They met Mordecai on the way, and he saw 3 children walking from school, and he ran after them. And he asked them, "What did you learn in the school today?" So one of them said, "Al tirach pachad, do not fear sudden terror." And the second one said, "Those planning to destroy us think what the worst, they will fail." And the third one said, "In old age, I will be with you, and I will watch over you and sustain you." So then Mordecai was so happy, because this was really sort of a nevuah from the children. Although he didn't call it a nevuah, he said it good tidings. So then he put on sackcloth, which is sort of contradictory. He was so happy, now he's sort of like sad. But he knew what was going to happen, because he realized there was a breach in our connection to Hashem. And he had to find the cure and how to nullify the decree. So that is why he sat in mourning, in order to arouse the people to do teshuvah, and to tell them that Hashem runs the world, not to be afraid of what the goyim are doing, in fact, to get their loyalty back to where it belongs to Hashem. And he knew from the prophecy of these things that the Jewish people would succeed. And by strengthening the Jewish people, and by closing this breach, there will be no allowances. So what did he have to do? He had to make sure that step by step with their belief. And that is why he went and told Esther. And so what does Esther do? Mordecai told her that because maybe you are the queen in the palace, this is maybe your chance. Otherwise, Hashem will probably be giving it to somebody else. So she told him, "Fast for 3 days. You and my maidens will also fast for 3 days, 3 days, and then I will try and go into Mordecai." So from this, we can see from the 3 pasukim that the little children had said, it's also for us that we can strengthen our emunah and bitachon. But also, what can we do on this day of the fast day? The Kava Yashar writes that we should merit to celebrate Purim the way that we should pray, and that we should merit to celebrate the Purim the way Hashem desires. And also, on this day, we should say the capital of Tehillim in 22, which starts off Allah. Yeah. That starts off Lamatseach al Ales Hashachar, which also refers in a way to Esther. It does refer a little bit to Esther, because it refers to the fact that Ales Hashachar is just the beginning of the dawn, when day is approaching. The night is already sort of finished with the darkness, and now the light is coming. And it's also mentioned, it's also for God's salvation, which will strengthen Israel, even the blackest nights of the bitter exile. And the second verse is, Lama atzalteinu. Why have you forsaken me, Hashem? Esther is crying out when she's going to Ashveros. We know that she was passing the idols, and we know that this is the time that the Shekhinah left her, and she was crying and crying. Suddenly it went back. And this is the time that we can also cry out to Hashem in this time of the Golas. And also it means we can change the word Alas Shachar also can mean Shachor, which is black. Everything is black, nothing is light, but the dawn comes, and there is salvation. And also, I think it's also us in a way that on this particular day, not only saying Tehillim 22, but we can also storm the heavens with just a sincere tefillah to bring about the Geula and end with the Mashiach, and that he will come soon. And that Purim is one of the festivals that will be the only one at the time of Mashiach. Also, another thing with Megillas Esther, is that it's the only one that is written on a parchment. We have other four Megillas, but this is the only one that is written on what they call a cloth, on parchment. And so this is also very important. So with that, we hope that Hashem will end this galus that we're in. And in closing, I would like to wish you all a Freilich and Purim Sameach, and a joyful Purim. Yay!
Okay. See, these are the people who don't come just for the food. I'm so proud of you. Okay. Good morning, Zoom people. It's Sippy, right? Sippy, welcome back. Thank you. I already saw Sippy, so it's just like old news for me. But wow, that. Yeah, wants to go to America. I'm going to America.
For 8 days? Yes. Then I'm not going anywhere for a long time. I think maybe forever, but.
Right. I'm looking at this trip that I'm taking to America. It's my last trip to America. That's how I'm going to her bar mitzvah. I'm going to the parents' kever, and it's my last bli neder. I guess I should say that, right? Bezrat Hashem. Exactly. I'm expecting to come back on the plane. It's coming right in time for Pesach, you know. Like Mashiach's supposed to be in Gullus, right? So.
You know that the donkey on there?
Well, you know, there's different ways. I mean, I'm planning to share a donkey basket spot with him.
It's important.
So, okay, so I just want to review a little bit what we talked about last week. So we've been talking about this idea of Medabe Chelakim, right? And we talked about this idea of whether there's binyan b'kelim. And if you remember, you know, when we started this whole thing that I spoke about how big structures, yes, there is binyan, but for small structures, there's a lot of disagreement. So Rashi, I'm going to review their positions. Rashi basically says there's no Indian of bona with a small kli. When you make something that's like a barrel on your desk, or I don't know, a model that would not be. What I didn't mention is that statement is true midiraisa. Midirabanan, there are many prohibitions about, and also there's another issue, and that is that there are other malachos that could be involved. There could be Macabbi patish. That's Elisha's favorite, Macabbi patish. Okay, final hammer blow. In other words, that finishing something, bring something to perfection and completion. So that, you know. That's what it is, a Macabbi patish.
No. Yeah,
The muksa things.
Yeah,
the muksa things. Yeah. Oh. It's nothing to do with malachas. Nothing to do with the malacha, but I don't know. There's an Indian of not mixing simchas, but I don't know. Yeah, it's not the same. It means like physically. Okay, so we also have the position of Tosfos, which is that making any structure would be bona, and making any modification to that structure would be bona. So if you add in, if it's a perfectly formed structure, you put a hole in it, that would be, according to Tosfos, that would be bona. And it has to be a tight, firmly put together structure. The Rambam takes a different position, and he says that any structure that you make, whether it's loosely, as long as it can hold stuff like a barrel. They talk a lot about barrels. I'm talking about barrels. They don't really have barrels, but he's talking about it. If you just glue it together and tie it with a rubber band, if it holds figs, it holds figs. But you've built something. So then it doesn't really matter whether you make some modification to the structure of it. So this leads to the whole machlokas, all these different points. the big machlokas about whether you can open bottles, whether you can, and different kinds of containers. Okay, so I mean, as I advised, best to talk to one's rabbi about this, just to find out what's recommended. But I didn't say this, that probably, I know a lot of heavy hitter poskim in our age say that you should not open bottles. There are many others who say that because basically you're opening it and you're throwing it out, it's not a kli, it has no permanence, it's of no value. I decided I'm gonna throw away the cap, and I do open bottles, throw away the cap and keep one in a drawer so I can use it. What? Bottle of wine isn't a problem. Wine bottles are not a concern. So I'm talking about, twist off caps. Twist. These bottles with little strips around them. Those are problems, not necessarily of bone end. Those are problems of chorea, tearing. Okay. And any like twist off bottles, like with the little metal things around them. There are those who say you can't open that either, right? There are opinions. Definitely best to open everything that you can before Shabbos. If you run out of oil or something, I don't know. Like I said, though, you have to destroy the cap. That's one. Like if you absolutely must have, like for your recipe. I know you have a high standard, so you have to you can destroy the cap. That would be one solution to it. Many different opinions, not much consensus. What can I say? Ask your rabbi. Okay. All right. So let's just talk a little bit about some utensils and tools. Okay. So any utensil, any functional structure would be considered bone end. Here's the list. Okay. Screwing a broomstick into a broom. Replacing securely a loose chair leg. Okay, you can put it there. It's a problem rabbinically because you might do too good a job and you might screw it in too tight, and then it would be a permanent repair. So that's a problem. So it's you can put it. It's prohibited rabbinically, so because you might come to make that mistake. Okay. I know I'm like that. I don't know. Once I start screwing in a chair leg, I got to go all the way. That's just how I feel. Just that kind of a person. Okay. Okay. So assembling or repairing a model airplane or similar toy. Assembling a metal shelf unit or other furniture. Don't get your IKEA deliveries on Shabbos. Like, there's nothing you're going to do with it. Okay. Replacing the wheel of a stroller, carriage, or tricycle that came off. Repairing a watch, like snapping the components, like the hand came off, the thing came off. Get a new watch. Okay. There are even some people actually who don't wind watches in Shabbos, but I don't wind a watch ever. Okay, assembling.
No, wind up watches nowadays.
That's exactly right. This book is, I think, 20 years old, right?
It's all batteries.
Yeah. Assembling a child's tricycle or bicycle. Okay, so there are many similar things along those lines. Should I do a little more? A little time. A little bit more. Okay, so furniture that's made with removable components. Removable components. Okay, so now this is different, because we'll talk about that too. This is different than folding furniture. Okay, so let's say, you made
a lazy boy or something that comes off. Is that an example?
No, a table that has an insert.
That's better.
right, that would be a problem. That would be a problem. And a lazy boy, I guess it's the same thing. I guess it would be the same thing, right?
You can open it.
You can open it. Yes, you can open it. You definitely can open it. That would be like folding furniture. This is like, I'll give you his examples. So a baby crib, right? It has an adjustable, you can lower and drop the mattress, right? You pull out little pegs, you put them in place, you put the mattress down. On Shabbos, you're not going to do that because you can't do that. If you have a menorah or a candelabra, which is muksa anyways, you can't like screw the different parts of it together, right? Like that would be, that would be like because your objective is for permanence, right? Okay, and then a prefabricated chair or bench. So this is your IKEA thing. Okay, so you can't do any of those. You can't do any of those kinds of things on Shabbos. Okay, I think that's enough.
About this table, if you want to make bigger.
You can. Yeah, why is that? I know that you can. Why isn't it the
It's
same
not
thing?
permanent.
I guess that's it. I guess that's the reason. It's not permanent, and it's also derech tashmishu. That's how it goes. But why? You can see that it's different than screwing in a leg in a chair. Like you can see why it is, right? It's not connected.
You're just putting.
No, there are things that go.
There are things like that. I better check it. I better double check it. By the way, somebody asked me whether crunching up like silver tin pans and things like that after you on Shabbos.
I heard not to.
You heard not to? I don't know. I spoke. Rabbi Fink says that you can, as long as you don't crack them or tear them. You can just like fold them up and compress them like a carton of milk. You can compress it. That would not be soter, the malacha of destroying. Yeah.
So foil pans you can just scrunch up.
Yeah,
and then
but you have to make sure not if it's gonna break or make a hole in it or something like that, which doesn't usually happen. Okay, I think that's it. That's all. Unless you must know before next week whether you could use Tinker Toys. Anybody have that? All right. We'll wait. Okay. We'll just. Okay.
Maybe not related. How many more weeks do we have before Pesach?
Okay, so we have this week and we have 2 more weeks.
Okay.
So the last day is March 20th. Got to listen to this. It's important. There's only, you have to know, after this week, there's only 2 more weeks. I won't be here the last week. Okay, and we're returning on April 24th.
So we have a month.
We have a little bit more than a month off. So after today, we have 2 weeks. Rabbi Rom's going to be speaking about Pesach for 2 weeks. He's speaking today another shiur connected to Purim, the secret plot, the real reason Haman drew lots. Okay. Okay. So the non-breakfast is sponsored in memory of Saucy Bat Merrill. Okay, and so we thank the kind donor. Okay, I'll say your name. Okay. Also, our learning today is for the Ilui Neshama of Shmuel Ben Sarah. I need my coffee. Okay. Ma'od. Tonight's the party starting at 8:30. I need somebody to come help me at 8 o'clock. Anybody available to help me? We will be conducting Matanas Levyonim. Okay, so and I'll make every effort to get it to a recipient on the day. Let's see what else. We're celebrating very soon our 10th year anniversary. Yeah, and so I don't remember the exact date. I just know that we started after Pesach. So after the Pesach break and after Rosh Chodesh Iyar. So the date is now May 1st is the day that we're going to celebrate it. And I mean, I hope it'll be a wonderful program for all of you, because this is like really celebrating ourselves. Because if you look around the room, like how many years are you here? How many? 6.5 years. And how many years? No, I can't ask you. How many years, Ilana? No, coming to the Bas Medrash? 10. You're one of the originals. And Tova, and I mean, all of you, you've been coming for years and years. And Elisheva, how long have you been coming?
10 years.
Were you one of the originals?
Yeah.
I'm looking for the originals. There were 12 and I don't know who they all are. Okay. That little
In your apartment,
right?
yeah.
Hi, Susie. Yeah, that was a nice, anyway.
That little
We've
apartment,
moved on
yeah,
there, yeah,
lovely.
yeah, okay. So, I wanted to be really so that all of us can really appreciate what we've been doing here all these years. I mean, you imagine this, like 10 years, every single week, studying devotedly. I mean, and we're not such a tiny group anymore. You know, we have people go to America or whatever. I don't know why that's on my mind, but you know, basically we have a regular core group of 50 people, you know, so even though we don't have 50, you know, so it's really quite, it's quite something, and it's quite something for all of us to be proud of. So stay tuned for details, and if you have any ideas how you can make this a more personal celebration for all of us. Okay, just.
I think the hotel and that movie is conventional.
Well, I think we're gonna, we will do something. We are gonna go. We will do a trip to it. We will go on a teal, but not that day. No, that's it. Not. We'll just do a different kind of a celebration, and then I will just maybe the next week we'll go on a Not a good day to. After May 1st?
May 1st and then the second.
Yeah.
Which is stuck in my head because that's what I read it. And then the May 7th, the week after that.
Is Lag Bowman.
The 7th.
Not to travel. Okay. Not a time to travel.
No, really.
All right.
Maybe before?
No,
Yes, no.
it's
Nobody's
Yeah, yeah.
nobody's gone anymore. I gotta stay home. I'm gonna do some gardening. That's what I'm gonna do. My garden. I just since a year and a half, haven't done it. Okay, so that's it. If you have dues, greatly appreciated. And it's the beginning of the month, you know, and I think that's about it. Okay, we actually have 2 minutes. We're like early. Why don't you all just go get a coffee? Yeah.
Go to the bathroom.
All right, are we gonna do all of our classes?
I don't know.
Well, let's get a good start. How about that?